it's some of the things that the UE 150, local 150 is doing. But what they have done is achieved in getting a mental health workers Bill of Rights. Okay, and now we're trying to work to get a law, the laws. And the reason I want to talk about that is because in my situation, day before yesterday, another girl was fired. Management is just, it's just, and I just want to say that I'm a model. I was a model worker. I didn't have anything in my record at all up until the incident that happened earlier this month, and the one that I got fired behind. I was there at 2 o'clock. My job started at 3 o'clock. 2:30, I was on the floor checking to see how things were going. 3 o'clock, I was in a report, getting information from the other nurses saying what happened that day. And also while I was in there to see who I'm going to be working with, because depending on who you're working with, you're going to have a rough day. I was the model worker. I did things that others wouldn't do. You know, they just didn't do it. But I'm going to make this kind of short. The reason I got fired was on this particular night. I had been at Central Regional Hospital for 5 years, and that particular night made the 5th year. I just became vested. On this particular night, and many nights, we had a patient who would act out every night, 3 and 4 times, just before she goes to bed. And she acted out at one time, and so I said, okay. I called the overhead. The TRT team came running, and TRT team takes control of the person who's acting out. And when I say acting out, this person is hitting, biting, kicking staff. And what we'll do is put them in a quiet room. TRT team came for that and put it in. And after they put that girl into the quiet room, I said, you know, I need to turn in my keys. That's what I said, just like that. Well, less than 30 minutes, she acted out again because they had taken her out of the quiet room. And we called an overhead, and the TRT team didn't come. So we had to get her into the quiet room again. And when we got her in there, because I'm a member of the TRT team, I was kind of leading. And so I was like, well, get her to face the wall, and we'll get out of this quiet room and close the door. And so we got her to face the wall, but she was fighting and kicking, and my hand caught her hair. I didn't jerk it, I just caught her hair. And when I came out, I said, Lord, I caught her hair. I had never done anything to any patient, been there 5 years. And patients have been acting out, I tell you. Okay, I've been spit on, I've been kicked in the eye, I've been hit, I've had a pencil jabbed in my arm. But management does not recognize what happens to the staff there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a good worker. It seems like the ones that stay longer and doesn't anything happen to are the ones that don't do anything. Okay? Well, anyway, I came out of the quiet room and I said, I pulled a hair. And the coordinator was standing behind me. And she said, you did what? I said, I pulled a hair. Not me. It wasn't intentional. And I said that from the get-go. It wasn't intentional. So I started filling out my papers. And as I was filling out my papers, she said, Rebecca, go in the back because you're about to cry. I didn't feel like I was going to cry. But the moment she said that, I started crying. I cried and I cried. She asked me to come upstairs. I cried. The girl had kicked me in the eye before I got her into the quiet room, but that wasn't what was bothering me. What was bothering me, and it bothers me today, is no one cares about the staff there. No one cares about the staff. That's what's bothering me. And this is what really got me that night. I went to the coordinator's office and I sat there, and then I took my medical slip to medical. And when I walked in, there was another girl off the same unit that I was in sitting there. And I broke down and cried again. I went into the examining room. Okay. didn't know I was taking that. I went into the examining room and came out. Another girl from the same unit was sitting there. And I broke down and started crying. And I cried for 3 days. 3 days. That meant I was stressed out from the get-go. And that's why we need to get this Bill of Rights a law.